Okay, so where's this? Okay, there it is. So here I am again. I'm like, I don't know. I was gonna give some analogy, but I better not. Oh my God, I'm looking kind of sad looking. Yeah. Because these ones I bought it on sale, like I don't know, like 5 years ago, and super scandalous, scandalous. It's like, I guess it's for like little girls or something. And I'm still like, because I haven't worn any makeup since the lockdown. So look at this. That's scandalous. You need like a tiny little bit, and that's it. And still, look at this. I keep taking out and taking out more. The good news is that this lasts like 24 hours. The bad news is that it looked like Pepto-Bismol. I'm like, whatever. It was like, I bought actually two because it was like, I don't know, it was a great deal. It was a great deal, you know. I think that was my last purchase in one of those drugstores. I think it was CVS. It's like, they give you like a $5, you know, like box, whatever, which I don't even follow it because I don't want to buy nothing. I don't want to buy nothing. So I don't want to get distracted. Like I said, today is Monday. It's Monday, then August 15th. 4/14, August 15th. Damn, I have 2 weeks. I gotta run in a little while to go to to Costco. Yeah, easy come, easy go. You know, like it's like I put all my money in the bank. It's just like, but my membership expired next month, so I only got 2 weeks left. Basically, all I need is honey. I'm gonna buy like 3. They're so heavy, but it's so good. It is so good, especially in the winter. You know, that shit keep me really healthy, really healthy. And you know, I keep forgetting the name of the papyrus. This is a papyrus that the Germans bought it. I think I emailed it to myself. I gotta look it up. I thought it was gonna be easier to remember this papyrus because over there it said, you know, from Kemet. It said it's talking about homeopathy and it's talking about, you know, honey. All the shit they used to do with honey. I mean, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Honey. I mean, like, oh, it got so many uses and stuff. It's like, anyway, got tons of antibiotics. Real, natural antibiotics. They found it in Kemet, you know, from like 3,000, you know, 4,000 years ago, because you know how they they botched the dates. So now they're coming out and saying that Sumer, you know, was before Kemet. They're coming out saying that the Irish was the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians was first, and then Kemet. These crackers are like shameless. They got all these videos and they got all their panties in a bunch, because they discovered that there were some Neanderthals that apparently uh, did some amazing things. I mean, that I have to say it. But yes, it was an amazing thing. But what they don't tell you, how they did them, how they did them. And I'm gonna disclose right here because my grandfather, my grandfather, he was, as far as we know, he was a self-made man. Afro-Mexican, African Mexican, and he knew how to make money. I just put it like that. So one of his many ventures that he had, I mean, I think I got to see the other pharmacies that he had, and those he bought. I think he just bought them as investments. That's how, I mean, I don't know. Because my family is so weird that they don't really tell you a lot of information. So, and I'm dying to really know because I think I asked them, and I think there was like the same kind of like, like evasion, avoiding, and this pharmacy, it was in my mom's hometown, and this was all fine woods. Okay, so you you will come in from the street downtown, and it was a front. The front was huge. Was a huge front, and so you will go in like 10 feet, 15 feet, I don't know. And there was two steps, which it was kind of dangerous. We always have to tell people, watch the steps, because they would start like, talking. They turn around and boom, we have to tell them, that there was two steps. And then you get to the counter. The counter, I don't know if that was the original, I don't know. But it was glass, it was like a wood base and everything. But anyway, on the sides from floor to ceiling, fine woods, custom made, like bookshelves, whatever, I don't know how you say that in English. All the way to the back. There was first there was a room. I mean, it was only one room, but they had a division with furniture where we had all these powders and, whatever. I don't even know what it was in all those drawers. They got like a million drawers, both sides. So that was the divider. I can only imagine how much that shit weighted because it was fine wood. The furniture that will divide. And I think it had like a little window in the middle. It was like custom made for, apothecaries, whatever they call it, So, and my father, because of racism, whatever, he didn't know how to cope. And I don't know. The only thing I know, because they never really told us why, but I find it is the same MO that he always had, which it was just to walk out. Like, I remember when they took our house where we grew up, until I was like 10 years old. So that was like, it was a big ass house, which it was like on the same block as the pharmacy. And strangely enough, it had a tunnel that connected the pharmacy with the house. So actually it was like, sometimes whatever, if they didn't feel like, going out, like being seen, they could just go through the tunnel to the house. Where else did that tunnel go to? I don't know. I don't know. I say that because, I mean, all these Tartarian buildings got tunnels and, there's like floors, sometimes like 10 floors or more underground. So you only get to see, what you get to see. One of the things is like I see is that, all the videos I've seen, these buildings, they had like a basement, but it got windows. It got windows. It was like, like you see a lot in Grand Concourse. You see a lot. You see how the Grand Concourse Street is over here, and then you see buildings that they got like 10 floors. They got 10 floors underneath. So there's like, going in that street is like, sometimes, at the beginning I used to, it was like, damn, it's like, I was going to like let's say, from 161st or whatever, 67 to 179. Oh no, it's like a lot of streets. It's like, you cannot go. You have to find a staircase to get out of Grand Concourse. Or, or where is a street, like for like Tremont or Burnside, 161st, that like it's all connected. Everything else is like, under the street. And, you gotta wonder, how many more floors are there? Once, not just below the street level, I said below the whatever, down there, how many more floors? Because that's a common denominator. That is a common denominator. You see, like a lot of the buildings, and you can go walk around the street and you find a different kind of bricks at the bottom of the buildings. And sometimes you see arches. Sometimes you get to see arches. I think I took some videos with a tablet. I mean, some pictures. So you get to see the arch of the window or the door, and all filled out with bricks. It's like really weird. Like, I mean, I get it. Something happened. And what I suspected is happening is what we've been saying, since I was little, the stupidifying, I don't know. Imbecilization, they sound like embezzlement, right? Like the retardation of the population. It's like, that's what's up. Of course, that's what's up. I mean, like, the way I see it, because, I walk, I'm not going to say the entire New York City, but like 90%. I mean, I like to just get lost and walk and walk and walk. And, yeah, I mean, you see strange things, like, and actually, I just remember something, at the beginning of the century, I met this character, and he was, only 2%, that's what they say, only 2% Neanderthal DNA, allegedly. I said, well, that 2% surely go a long way. You gotta admit that, that is, so, where was I? I forgot. Oh yeah, I'm like, I get distracted so easily. So anyway, this Tartaria supposedly was banned, and supposedly it was banned by the Soviet Union. I mean, it sounds suspicious. I think it was banned right here. But then again, I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to see if I can find any people from the Federation so I can ask them, if they ever heard about Tartaria. And to see if it was actually banned by their government, because that's that's what they're telling us, right? There's a whole book. I think I'm gonna put it over here in the description, not the description, whatever, comment section. And I'm gonna put it there, and it's a book, like Everyday Life in Tartaria or Tartaria, whatever they pronounce it. And I'm gonna focus for right now. I'm gonna focus on the Anahuac. What is the Anahuac? Well, I'm right here in the Anahuac. This is what it's called before the 2% came in, right? And before they came in, they changed the number, the name, and they put America, right? So I'm gonna focus just here. They say, oh my God, how do they have so much money to make all these buildings for the world fairs? There's been world fairs since 1947, I think it was, so 39. It's not easy to find the footage and the pictures, and I don't remember. No, the one that I remember more, that I've seen more videos, is the World Fair of 1953. No, 1853. I'm sorry, I'm talking about 18. I meant 1843, 40 something. It's like, supposedly they have the audacity to have the World Fair to celebrate the arrival of Christopher Columbus in San Francisco. I think it was in San Francisco. So right there, it sent me like, okay, so what am I talking about right now? I'm talking about defeated people. And that is what Tartaria represents. Tartaria, as far as I see it, the way I see it, I've seen tons of videos and some channels that, they're shameless, racist, and they suppress the human zoos with our brothers and sisters from Africa and the Philippines. Some of them, they end up mysteriously dying on these human zoos, and their brains were taken to the Smithsonian, and they are right there in the Smithsonian, illegally. All that stuff. Listen, all the weapons they create to put themselves on the top, to have the maximum white hegemonic power for the last 200 years. All that saying, it's gonna be used to put them in their proper place in history. The Johnny-come-latelys that supposedly built all the pyramids and the temples of our ancestors, because they claim that, the people from Kemet have white skin. And the ones that are more generous, they say, oh, it was a diverse society. It's like, okay. But I say, if anybody, the way they call us, right? Afrocentric. If you like to speak the truth, if you like to, be honest and say, who is the original man and woman, in this planet, you're Afrocentric. Okay, so you're Afrocentric, watch out. And we need to squash this narrative that the Phoenicians are Irish people. I'm not gonna say, because we know the Phoenicians, they like to travel a lot. And that's how it all got cemented. All the confusion, all the racial confusion got because they was going, to now, they've been calling it for a while, the Arabic Peninsula, as if that is not Africa, the Arabic Peninsula, and they weaponize the Arabic identity as if it was like the original man and woman, or this semi-white, semi-whites. That's what it means. They're semis. And that's what they say, you're anti-Semi. It's like, so I am anti-mulatto. I am a mulatta myself. How would I be anti-mulatta? How that should work, right? We're supposed to be exotic and whatever, sexy, whatever you name it. You open a magazine and you see all these racially ambiguous characters. That's ambiguous to those. I've been living in the United States since 1989. So I can tell you a little bit about phenotypes. And it's like, my father died last year. It's like I listen to some African Americans and say like, nah, blah, 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 damn you. And I'm not going to say maybe they got every right to feel paranoid, but then there's the other question. It's like, why you want to suppress this information that you are the original man and woman? And at the same time, you want to be accepted as the original man and woman. So it's like a contradiction. It's like, you got to tell everybody you are the original man and woman and stand tall and don't let them back you down, because there's plenty of DNA that prove it. And it's just common sense. We wouldn't have been able to survive. We wouldn't have been able to survive as human race. And the whole world, hue mean black, man mean thinking entity, right? So by definition, that's why they came out with their mankind. They're mankind, and they don't even know kindness, but that's what they're called, because Dr. Khalid used to say, because they're kind of a man, and you cannot argue with facts, right? But it's good to listen to what they're talking, how they talk about themselves and stuff, So going back to the world fairs, because I already lost my train of thought, sorry. So there's tons of videos, and they say those are not temporary structures. They are not temporary buildings. And I found one from Albany. You gotta see that shit. That World Fair, I think it was 18. I forgot. Oh my God, I watched so many. I don't know which year is what. I think it's 1901. Yeah, it's 1901. That's how I was remembered. That there's been four United States presidents taken away artificially. they've been taken away artificially. 4 United States presidents. So, and they was all Irish, I think. All Irish. We have had like 25 Irish presidents. And they tell me that the Irish came to the United States as slaves. Which, I mean, we know that's a lie. That was indentured servitude. And I think that wasn't bad. Indentured servitude was not bad. It is actually, for me, it's actually something good. Because if I don't have nothing, let's say, put my case, you know, the government took my apartment that I bought with the money I worked for. You know, I bought it in 1994 in Manhattan. But because I got sick, I needed Medicaid. They say, don't worry, just sign right here. Give us your apartment. That's entrapment. That is entrapment and that is illegal. But, you know, I thought at the time I needed Medicaid, right? Because we brainwashed to think that the only solution come from one of their, you know, doctors. We all went brainwashed. I mean, like, this happened like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I signed my apartment away. You know, the stuff I thought is like, well, yeah, I have something, you know. I have a real estate. And that should happen here all the time. There's families that, you know, they thought of themselves as being, you know, affluent. They thought of themselves as being, you know, whatever, you know, upper middle class, you know, more closer to the big shots. And sometimes just one person in their family got sick. The hospital bills started piling up and everything, and just from there, you know, it just go down the hill. I have to mortgage their house. They're like, they don't read the dotted line, the fine print, the dotted line. You know, below the dotted line, they don't read all that fine print. It's entrapment. You know, they get mortgaged and, like, you know, it's a mess. So it's like, if this is a factory of a homeless factory, you know, like producing thousands of homeless a day in the United States. You know, and because, you know, I mean, you look at the statistics. Like 70% of the population are living paycheck to paycheck. They say they don't even got $500 in the bank. I mean, I was homeless in Chicago for a year. I was like, that shit scared me straight. That shit scared me straight. I was like, hell no. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but guess what? You know, like Nipsey Hussle. All money in, no money out. All money in. I was like, there's no expenses. There's no expenses. And I had 3 jobs in Chicago, you know, on the weekends and then weekdays in the afternoon, evening. So life was really good in the 80s, I mean in the early 90s in Chicago. But in 92, I decided to come over here to New York to get away from my crazy family. So going back to Tartaria, you know, so, I mean, yeah, I saw that footage, which I think I might put it in the comment section. It said, you can see right there, because they left the building upstate. They actually left everything after the World Fair. They left everything. They stole all the money for the, you know, whatever, dismantling. That's how thuggish they are. They actually had like a World Fair in New York City on 42nd Street and 43rd, where the public library is right now in Bryant Park. They ended up not even paying the architects. It was called the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace, and it's like, I was like, shit, I used to work in the Crystal Palace in Marshall Fields in Chicago. That was my first job I got as a waitress. It was a fountain, like a soda fountain, like screen fountain. It's called the Crystal Palace. Where they got that name from? It turned out that the British had one done, a Crystal Palace. And, they had this exhibit, whatever, blah, 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 from many different countries. So using that technique, they told the whole world, hey, this is going to be about the world. And it ended up to be about the United States. They kick him in the ass. The press did not even cover, the foreign exhibits. It only talked about the United States exhibits. It was like really bad. It was really bad. They didn't give any maintenance to the building. They didn't give any, it was like one of the chandeliers fell off, and mysteriously, surprisingly enough, did not kill nobody. So when finally the city come in and they see this shit is need a lot of repair because all the screws are moldy. So once again, I think they call it serendipity. They call it serendipity or something. I don't know. Whatever, It burned down. Just like the Twin Towers, and they got insurance policies, never lose a dime. They never get to lose one dime. Wow, this is it is that good to be white. That's why everybody want to be white. Everybody want to be white because, they know you don't have to pay taxes. You can get loans with tiny little interest. And if you don't have money to pay it, they'll understand. They'll find out, some kind of loophole to get Fannie Mae or one of those things, people talk about Fannie Mae and the other one, whatever, as if it was only people of color that benefit from that. By the time we found out about Fannie Mae and the other one, whatever, they are already loaded up. Interest free, whatever, living good, but it was actually an African American woman who became the welfare queen, the poster child for welfare fraud. But when you look at the statistics, who is the most on welfare? That's right, those that they say they only got 2%, Neanderthal. So you go okay. But people are so stupid that they just take that for oh yeah, if it's brown or if it's black, it's on welfare. It's living off, of the state. And I guess I say my argument is so you'd rather send that money to Ukraine? Not a single media outlet have done, the work to follow the money to Ukraine. Is Ukraine in Panama? Is in Switzerland? I'm asking for a friend because that's where they got all their, their fiscal paradises, etc. It's just shameless robbery, and now they're trying to bamboozle people into, into thinking, white is great. White is great. This is what we did. Look at this. And they are very, very impressive. Some of these buildings, some of them you can tell that they are like totally African. But there's like from the 19th century, the 1980s, that there's a whole bunch of buildings that, we all consider them to be white. I don't know why, but I guess they market it that way. Because we forget that Paris means the city of Isis, right? The city of Isis. That's what I mean, because that's what they call ISIS, instead of Aser. The same thing with Memphis. Memphis is another city dedicated to ISIS, the African deity. But they think we're all stupid, and I get it. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of sheeple, but not this one. Come on. You can, if you have half a brain, you can put things together, and you say like, okay, so you had like 350 years where you had slavery, chattel slavery, not just any slavery. That the people that was enslaved, the Africans that was enslaved, no rights, no nothing. It was like total property of these people. Because how can you be people if you enslave somebody? And these are the same Neanderthals that right now they're crying on the internet because some doggy, got the leg stuck in the whatever. The same ones that, they are being shown in social media 24/7, rescuing wild animals, because that's what they told us to call them. Oh, these are animals. I'm not even going to get into that. But this is something that we need to reflect. These are the people who told us to call them animals. And now they are the champions of animal rights. They always take all sides in everything. Everything. They are the executioner, and they are the saviors. They are the saviors of the day. If you, like I say, if you are just whatever, or drinking the Kool-Aid. Yes, there was a time I used to drink the Kool-Aid, before internet. I used to get home to watch the 10 o'clock news, and I was already informed, and it turned out that is one company. It's called Vanguard. That's where all the news is coming from, this corporation called Vanguard. Okay, okay, going back to Tartaria, the Grand Tartaria. So, the maps only show mostly the Soviet Union territory, but there's a lot. I have not read the book. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the book. It's a PDF. I have looked at the pictures and a lot of I can tell a lot of the people who are doing videos on Tartaria, because those videos are going viral, because everybody, like I say, oh my God, it was there's actually something that we built ourselves. We built it. This one we didn't have to, just put our name in it. We don't have to steal it. We actually build it ourselves. So they are extremely, like, the panties are literally in a bunch. So it's like, and I mean, to that, I can tell you that, the library of Alexandria, because they have to put their name on everything, that's something that you gotta question. Why everywhere they go, they gotta put their their name, like, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Charleston. I mean, and all these places that is supposed to come down to their lineage, even when the so-called King Charles II, or he might have been the last real King Charles, before they all got their DNA inserted there. I mean, because you can see the pictures, and I mean, he was African. He was African. I mean, he was a mulatto, whatever you want to call it, but and they say themselves. Some of these people, they say he was a Moor. He was a Moor. Like, they keep making up names, So, oh no, those are not African. They was Moors. Those was Moors, and the Moors, where they come from? Where they came from? Africa. They came out with this sub-Saharan term, because that's one of the things, the first things they do before they steal the land. They started like calling them, renaming everything, like they did in Soho. But that's south of Houston, and NoHo, one of the most expensive DNAs. I'm listening to the music. Real estate, one of the most expensive real estates, right? Now, as I speak, I'm watching every day the desecration of Harlem. They call it Soha and Noha, right? South Harlem, North Harlem. They have entire blocks, and for whites, how to find the best real estate, the pre-war apartments. I was telling you that I met this character at the beginning of the video. His name is Todd. I didn't know much about, crystal meth until I found out, and he loved to hear himself talk. And I was like, I guess I was in need of attention, whatever, So he actually took me upstate to Westchester, to Rye. That's where all his family supposedly is from. 3-4 generations, and that's it. They're legitimized. And so, I mean, he had a lot of money. So for a while, it was like, and then, of course, I have the heart of a chicken, like we say. I felt sorry for him because, I mean, he had absolutely everything, and he was destroying himself with crystal meth. And so anyway, so he took me over there, and I don't know, he decided to take me everywhere where he grew up. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. We went to these, I don't know, I think it was like a bed and breakfast, where some believe that George Washington, which that's another character, right? This guy, that another one that got born in a log cabin you know, he had his own army. And right before this land, where this was to become a nation, a country, he come in with his army, and instead of a nation, we got a corporation instead. Very, very, very suspect. Very suspect. Even one of the presidents that they killed, 10 years after they killed Lincoln. 10 years, only 10 years, not even 10 and a half years, I think they said. What was his name? I forgot his name. I'm sorry, this is like kind of one of the ones that they don't want us to know, because then that reveal the thuggish nature of these people, right? McKinley was the one that they killed in 1901. That was the third. I think that was the third. Yeah. And there was Irish. As I'm telling you, like 25 presidents have been Irish. But they're selling us at the same time. It's like feminists. I am a queen goddess, but then also I'm a victim. How's that shit gonna work? You go like, no honey, you gotta pick one. Or you are a queen, you're a goddess, or you're a victim. You cannot be all those three at the same time when it's convenient for you, right? I mean, like, it's just insane. It's just insane, like, and people, they go along. Oh, yes, queen, whatever, queen, or whatever. And then this bitch could turn around and like, I am oppressed, I'm a victim, I have to suck dick for a living and whatever. Like, you have to? No. You didn't even want to date, remember? You just got married. Because you can get divorced. No contest, right? And that will, open the gates of all the help and sympathy, but, all your apartment, your Medicaid, everything, I mean, like, but that's where it come from. That's where it come from, from Neanderthalism. And I'm losing my train of thought. Again, I had just got it. Todd. I forgot his last name. Oh, he actually lived in a pre-war. That's what I remember. In a pre-war apartment. I remember when I went there, of course, because of the drugs and God knows what went on in that apartment. That shit was huge. Over there by 146. I don't know if that exists. It's like, if you're coming from downtown, it's right before the cemetery, towards Riverside, somewhere like that. That shit was like, hardwood floors, like all these doors, beautiful doors. That's how, I didn't know what pre-war apartments was about, I just saw an advertisement in the train. It said like pre-war, something. Like, if you subscribe to that app or website, whatever, they will tell you how to find those pre-war apartments. So this is not what I'm telling you that is shocking. The shocking thing for me was that this apartment was beautiful. All these windows, all like, what they will say is a tertiary building. I remember that, there was floors on the ground. Of course, we don't know how many, only like whatever, So then he told me that this was not the entire apartment. That's when I was gagging. I was like, what do you mean this is not the entire apartment? Oh, it's already been cut up in three. Three. You mean to tell me that one family lived in a whole block of Manhattan? One family. And so now they're all like, oh my God, how could that be? How could that happen? 300 years of slavery, and then came Jim Crow. All you gotta do is like, you call the prisons. You can call even the prison of Jersey. I need 500 prisoners to help me build this, to help me build that. All documented. Their reconstruction, one of the periods that is not even taught in school, right? You know, they forgot the reconstruction, which it was, a lot of times it was construction. It was not reconstruction. It was construction. Because guess what? There's no footage from the Civil War. There's no footage. They got footage of everything. They got it on video. From around the same time, they got video of this, video of that. And you mean to tell me they didn't take video from the Civil War? I like that some of them are actually telling the truth about that. There was no such thing as Portuguese Empire. There was no such thing as Spanish Empire and other empires. It's always been the same. Germans, the germs, it's always been the same. Or we're gonna pretend that the Windsors, that's the real last name? You got a problem because my name is Brooke. And yes, my parents did not name me Brooke. That name came to me in a dream. And it's African. It's not British. It's African name, Brooke. So, but you tell me that the royal family, mafia, you know, more like it. You're telling me that you recognize them as the Windsors, when the real last name, we cannot even pronounce it. God knows I cannot pronounce that shit. So what game are we playing? I knew this years and years ago. Because why? Because I had met some of these Arabs. They call themselves Spaniards. There's no effing way these retards can, I mean, they can barely tie the shoestrings. You're gonna tell me like, these are the motherfuckers who was whipping us every day, calling us, you know, dirty, Indian, whatever, blah, 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 blah. No. No. And then I met some Portuguese. Same shit, like, you know, Arabs. And then Macron, another Arab, idiot. You know, when he met Zelensky, started making out with him in public. And guess what? Those pictures are headlining every gay parade around the world. So that tells you who the gays are. That tells you who the gays are and what they're about. They put a picture of Macron and Zelensky, or Chilinsky, should we call him, whatever. They said that's how the algorithm gets triggered. Everybody gets triggered these days, right? Guess what? I get triggered too. Just a heads up. I mean, I don't get impressed that easily. So, I mean, that's how stupid these people are. There was a meme going around about, Elon Musk, flaunting, that he's the richest man alive. And the meme said is like, and the other side of the meme was like the real trillionaires enjoying, the secrecy, we know, how many, not all, a lot of us, we know that. Gates is just a puppet. Just a puppet. I mean, come on. You mean to tell me that he gets to terrorize the whole planet and whatever and do things that, change the whole planet on his own? And the government say, yeah, sure. Yeah, you release your, whatever, your hard drives, your this software that, and like, come on. I mean, in the 20th century, there was no way. I was there. I was born in 1965. 6 weeks after they executed the Honorable Malcolm X. So, you wouldn't take him by surprise. There was no way you can take him by surprise in the 20th century. In the 21st century, it's like, I see it every day. Especially like in Latin America. It's like nothing goes their way. Nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. 509. I still want to go to Costco. But I don't want to go in Harlem, and I don't want to go to Brooklyn. I better go now before I need some walnuts, coffee. I need to quit too, but in the meantime, I can get it there for cheaper, much cheaper. I don't think I will buy it at a regular supermarket. I mean, $10 for a little bag like this. Anyway, where was I? So, that is the whole thing with supremacism. Supremacism is about living large, even living way beyond your means. Because why? That's the whole thing. Supremacism. Inflated ego. That apartment that I saw, and he loved to teach me. He loved to teach me, and I'm not gonna lie, I love to hear what he had to say. It was like something inside of me say like, let him talk, and he will tell me this thing, this like that. Like, I didn't know, like, for instance, what was a steamer boat. I call it a trunk. It's a steamer boat. It's like for the steamer. And then he taught me that, continental was everything that had to do with the old continent. Old. Actually, it was a dumpster. That was where, you see all these creatures like the Neanderthals. Everybody was there. Like, nobody wanted to go there, with some really awful energy for thousands of years. In general, it was not, the paradise that they make it seem now, right? Enchanted. But anyway, where was I? So he will tell me and all these things. It's like, oh, this room was for like this, and that. It was like something, you know, the word capricious come to mind. Like living like, I never really asked him, but he kind of like intuited that I could ask him about slavery. So he will tell me ahead of time. There was no slaves in New York. So I guess he never found nobody who would listen to his bullshit, I guess. I don't know. That's why he took me. Not once, it was like 5 times. 5 times. We're gonna go to the whatever. We went to the cemetery to see, of course, guess who? Judy Garland's. I mean, it's such a cliche, right? But they'll be like, anyway, but I mean, and I was struggling because I get car sick. I get motion sickness, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember getting sick in a boat, but the car sick, yeah, there's something about cars. I don't know. Not the train, not the bus, but And so some days it was better than others. He took me to like this bed and breakfast where Washington supposedly had spent the night. And then he was saying like, well, it have not been confirmed that he was here, blah, blah, blah. And he took me to a cathedral. I'm not lying to you. You can go see it right there. I used to have a brochure. I took a brochure. Cathedral. And I was like, why is there a cathedral over here in this land of nobody? No one's land, whatever. It was like freezing cold. I mean, like, who the hell put a cathedral? And I say, I don't know, because I'm a recovering Catholic of like 30 years. But I don't know, but I understand a cathedral. The cathedral is like, and I think it was Catholic. He told me he was Catholic. That's why he was like, and I was like, I guess when I see my face, it's like, he says something, I don't remember. Some excuse, like, yeah, but that's how important this place was. It's a cathedral. A cathedral. And it's just like, wow, a cathedral in Westchester. I was like, what is that? I mean, like, not to mention that you find some crazy ass buildings in the hood, in the Bronx. And, faraway places like Brownsville, and, like, it was everywhere. And wherever there was, I mean, they had to live grand living, grandiosity. They had rooms for guests, rooms for like whatever, studio, libraries with books, like 2,000-year-old books. I mean, like, why? I mean, that's a stupid question. I already know the answer. But they are all going into like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. We were so great. We was like, yes, you were so great because there was no unions. There was no internet. People making videos and saying how they're exploiting me. I've been here in this shit for 15 hours and they don't even allow me to go to the bathroom. Like Amazon. And now they're selling, these unions. Come on. I mean, that's a escape valve, like when they think it's gonna explode, it's like, oh, it's gonna unionize. Now, Bezos, whatever he called himself, he's a champion of human rights because he allowed his employees to unionize. That's the headline. even without seeing anything these unions do. I was working at Macy's. I was unionized. The union didn't do shit for me. I remember every week from my paycheck, it was like $30 they was taking for the union. What's the difference between that and the mafia when they don't do nothing for you? The shop stewards, it was like, anyway, I don't even want to talk about that. But, I mean, I wanted to talk about it. I'm going to be talking more about Tartaria because, I mean, like I say, you know, as far as we know, they told us that Alexander, he used to worship the Greek, and then he was brainwashed by Aristotle and all these races, the ones that they used to call Abyssinia, Ethiopia, those with the burned faces. That's how racist the Greek was. That's why they was making all these statues like this color. They found themselves, you know, to lift the way to lift their ego by saying that they was the beautiful, they was the beast, all the statues and more statues, and look at how amazing they are, how like whatever, and that's, you know, how they insert themselves in history, right? Even when, you know, we know the Greek population even today, to this day, the Greek population got black skin. Oh no, oh, that's olive. Okay, whatever, you know, like, you know, still coffee. You can put all the milk that you want. You know, you can put creamers and syrups with artificial flavors and stuff. It's still coffee. It's still coffee. Or why don't you order coffee by another name? I want to see people ordering, you know, the white drinks by, give me the creamer with a little bit of coffee. I never heard nobody. I was a waitress for years. I never heard nobody, give me a cup of cream or milk with a splash of coffee. Nobody ordered that shit. They say, a cup of coffee, bring me extra cream, extra milk, because it's like, what is the damn point of you drinking if you're gonna ruin it with milk? Like the Honorable Malcolm X said, you know, he used to keep you awake, he used to wake you up. Now this shit put you to sleep. Of course, that's what they want, right? If it's black, step back. If it's brown, what was the other one? I forgot. They used to have all these, you know, for the children. For the children. This was for the children. These slogans. This, like, you know, if it's yellow, it's like, you know. And that's what, you know, the three races. The three races. The white race, you know, according to them, was for governing. The yellow races was for thinking. And the rest, we was just to obey. They wrote books about it, scientific books about it. That they have found three races. Manifest destiny. Sound familiar? The Monroe Doctrine. That they're still pushing to this day. To this day. I mean, where am I? I'm right now, I'm in the Empire State. Shameless. Shameless. I mean, like, you know, and we allow this shit. We allow this shit. And, I mean, I come in circle again. These are defeated people. That's what I'm seeing. Defeated people, you lost. And why they lost, I suspect, is because they became crazy optimistic. You know, the moment that anybody advance something, you know, then they're gonna come the whites, you know. I mean, why we hate the Federation so much? Look at the composition of the people of the Federation. They are Mongolic, Tartars, and white. Because they don't admit that they're Africans. Oh no, they don't admit they're Africans. You know, like, okay. I mean, you can see the Mongoloid DNA. The Mongoloid DNA. The Tartarian DNA, that's supposed to be white skin. That's supposed to be part of the phenotype. Supposedly. I mean, so even if it was this empire that comprehended all the way to Alaska, I mean, the United Slaves in Alaska, not all everything, you know, like, I forgot what states they're claiming. I mean, it is true, but I mean, like, since I can remember, you know, I always seen that they wanted to make a branch of Europe in the Nahuatl, always. So, I mean, why now act so surprised? You know, we had a dictator in Mexico for 30 years that his main focus was to make Mexico into another France. He said he was in love with France. He was Afro-Mexican. He was an indigenous Afro-Mexican. And he was infatuated with France. And that's why we have all these buildings in Mexico. We have like exact replica of this, exact replica of that building in Europe, exact, you know. I mean, that is the logical consequence when, you know, the whole world and the whole identity, and most importantly, where they believed their power come from. You know, they believed that their power came from their motherland. This is why, you know, like, I mean, all these patriots, nobody questioned these patriots. What do you mean you're a patriot? Patriot is the fatherland. Where is the fatherland for this? In Europe, right? In Europe. So it's like, you gotta be like, you're a patriot? So go to the fatherland. I know, like, we all play along. You gotta play along to get along, right? For how long? For how long? And each time these poor whites, they are bitching and whining on social media, that Tartaria, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, we used to have this. Oh my God, look at this. They had unlimited power, electricity. I mean, you got to see the videos from Coney Island. I was like, people used to rave about this. I used to say, they got to be more than this. And I did get to talk to you know, older New Yorkers. And yeah, they used to rave and it used to be like fabulous, blah, 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 the dances, the this, and it's like, so yeah, that's what slavery and Jim Crow got you. There is no magic monies, there's no magic, like whatever. Oh, I didn't finish that thought on Albany. There's a video, at the end of that footage, you can see, because like I say, these thugs, they left everything there for months. The people in Albany was furious with all these, as amazing as it was, supposedly, because, like, it was HD photos and videos. No, the videos ain't that much HD. But you can see a lot of the details, though, still. If you're a trained eye and you know what you're looking for, you might be able to find it in these videos. So at the end of this video on Albany, Albany World Fair, at the end, you can see some of these buildings. Come on. It's made out of wood. And the wood is getting rotten. Some of them are busted. And you can see right there. Come on, and we got all these views. And it's in all these channels. So people have seen this shit. I gotta walk because this flies just arrived. So can we, please not continue? This is why you're about to become extinct. Because it's so hard to accept the reality. And the reality is that you lost. I don't know who took you down. I assume it was your own people. There's an ancient African proverb that says the enemy outside cannot win without the enemy inside. So, it's the same thing that happened with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was fantastic. I've seen video. It was, as far as I have not seen video, lavish, like these videos over here, but people were very comfortable. People was very comfortable in the Soviet Union. Of course, it was all white. Of course, it's like when people, they say, oh, in the Netherlands, you don't even need a voting registration card. They're like, well, yeah, because they all consider themselves to be white. They all consider themselves to be all the same. But what happened when, some of us are considered to be lesser because we don't have the Neanderthal DNA. That's when you need your voter's registration and a state ID, and you need to bring somebody who know you in order to allow you to vote. All this crap that we see, it's like, that's where it come from. That's where it's come from. It's not coming from, oh, it's so weird over here. Why you need all these requirements to vote? As if we was actually to be allowed to vote them out. We saw how they stole the elections from Trump. Trump is another subject. He's not considered to be white. They know where his family came from years ago, and he's not considered to be white, just like the people from the Russian Federation are not considered to be white. Ireland only got their honorary white card like 70 years ago, 60 years ago. Look it up. Yes, they was not considered. So how come if they wasn't considered to be white, how come there were so many US presidents? Why? Because they can have all these double narratives, opposite, conflicting narratives, and they still, oh my God, somebody, there's a pint of vodka right there. This is unbelievable. They're smoking like half a mile away. And I feel it like in my face. Isn't that crazy? And I just feel like I'm in a closed room. It's crazy. Well, also estrogen make your smell a lot more sensitive. It's like, damn, they're so far away from me, smoking tobacco. I mean, you know, it got me like sick. That's also why I'm walking away. So she's not gonna fly. She's not gonna fly. Find out the truth. Expose those who took down these people. I don't believe there was better because, like I say, you know, the World Fairs had human suits. All the footage that there is and the pictures, you don't see nobody with black skin or brown. You know, mysteriously enough, everybody look very, very pale. There's some that they're like, you know, questioning, you know, but mostly it just seemed like the vision of white supremacy, you know, like. So of course they was gonna do for them, of course they went all the way and the extra mile to build, to like, you know, to put everything. I mean, like say you take a walk on Grand Concourse and you walk like, damn, those buildings in the Bronx, you know, I mean, like, and some of them already like, you know, busted and stuff, but still you can see the grandiosity of these buildings, all the details, everything, because when it's for them. And then what happened? Like we've seen a lot of the neighborhoods, you know, like here in the Bronx and Brownsville and Crown Heights, you know, they take everything away. When they leave, it's just like, damn, I mean, like, oh, I forgot to mention the Dykeman House, which is supposed to be the only, you know, original building from the 1800s. I think it's 1800s, obviously on Dykeman. And it do fit the same description. Very high up, the house. It got actually, they had to build a, you know, wall to contain it. And so it's like, in 100 years, it's like, you know, you gotta question why they flatten the street, which is it's on Broadway. It's on Broadway, and I think it's like 212, 215th Street, something like that. These damn flies, they bit me so hard. I didn't even feel him back then because I was talking, I guess. But now, I'm like, I'm not going back to that park, I guess. Hell no. I don't know, because it's shady, and I wanted to go to the other one, but because I want to go to Costco, and the train is right here, I was thinking, like, go back up there and then come back down. I mean, I didn't think it was the smartest thing to do. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that it do make sense according to their theories, the theorization, the contextualization of all these buildings. And I'm not even talking about the melted ones. There's a lot of melted buildings and structures, you know, and especially in Eastern Europe, and you know, I mean, like you say, like really weird stuff, you know. I think that's a different thing. You don't have a swipe? Oh, you have a swipe. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. That was fast. I was near my candle. I bought a candle. Oh my god. So, where was I? I think that's a separate thing. It do feel like there's I don't know, at times I look at these buildings and I feel like a weapon. I feel like some kind of weapon. I mean, we saw with the Twin Towers what they did with the Twin Towers. And I have seen documentaries. Thank you. I have seen documentaries on the Twin Towers, how this thing it's like a microwave demolition, and it's like it produces unbelievably fine dust. So it's like, what if they had a weapon to melt these structures? It's really bizarre. You gotta see those, and but I do see also the fact that they buried a lot of the buildings. I mean, they're talking about a flood of mud. There's one documentary that they see how there was a volcano eruption, and I think in the Netherlands, whatever, and recently, and they was able to see from the ground. From the ground, they was able to see this mud. It's like sand. It started burying everything. It wasn't that intense, but I mean, that's part of the proof of what they got. From these volcanoes, that this is like water, but there's also a lot of mud coming out. So that could be it. There's another evidence from Rome. Rome was buried, like 90% buried until like 100 years ago. That's when they started unearthing everything. So I don't know. Supposedly nobody knows who ordered that to bury the whole city. Because supposedly it became the sacred Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, and all that stuff. Supposedly that's what it became. So when did this happen? When did they bury the entire city of Rome? And I've seen some of the videos, and that was like 50 feet. Then they put soil on top of the city. So there's a lot of stuff, I mean, like in North Carolina, there's a whole city. It's called Asheville. I think it's Asheville, North Carolina. They got tons of buried buildings there. They got I mean, something is out, but I don't think we're ever gonna get to the bottom of this if they keep, playing stupid. Like they say, oh, why, when they need to come out with that part of history. I think to me, obviously, there was a big war. I mean, for lack of a better word, there was a war. There was a war between these people, and what happened was that these people lost. These people lost. I mean, they had, they was giving away free energy. I mean, you can see like Coney Island. I don't know. It's like it looked really mysterious. All that light, all these world fairs, all this city. I mean, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. Like most of the population always get the technology like 50 years later. I mean, like the cell phones. We're talking about the cell phones now, right? But they've been having cell phones 20, 30 years before we even knew what a cell phone was. So that's part of the whole system of racism. I mean, they live in another world. And now all these videos are acting out like, oh my God, this is crazy. How can and it's happening right now. Most of us, we don't even know. I mean, what's going on right now? We're gonna be finding out. We're gonna be finding out in 50 years what they are using right now. Their everyday life, they have I mean, not a lot of this technology. You know, like I say, they have a whole underground network of websites. You know, oh, you want to go to Mexico, you want to go to Guatemala, whatever. These are the places that, you know, where they love white people, right? Where you can find such and such products, where you can everything is like a translation for them. The same thing here in the Bronx. I have seen some screenshots. People have taken some screenshots on Twitter, you know, like about it's just such a privilege, you know, that to have when you control the media, you control all the institutions, schools, the universities, all this stuff. It's a lot of power. It is a lot of power, and making it seem like, you know, the world would be different right now. If I was to see in those videos, if I was to see that there was, you know, black people,
transfer to the
Arabs in any of these videos that you see, any of these pictures, you don't see them. So you don't see them so and this has always been the case. Always been the case. Poor whites have always been ignored, have always been, you know, and they continue betting on them, like the so-called Ashkenazis, right? Every single corporation in the United States was, you know, opening businesses in Germany at the time, was giving donations, was everything, because the promise was that the entire planet was going to be absolutely ruled by white people. So they did not even mind. Even in Chile and Argentina, they were sending millions of dollars to Hitler because they had the dream, the promise that white people was going to have all the land that they wanted and just for them with at the top of the chain. I'm going into time.